Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. It is a beautiful day for an auction. We're glad that you all made it out. As most of you know, we're selling today for the Potter family in Rosewood Dairy. And they've farmed at least on a portion of that land for over 100 years. And today they decided it's time to discontinue farming. So we've been given the privilege of selling for them, and we appreciate them putting the trust in us. And we have an excellent offering for you here today. We've got some prime property that doesn't come along all that often like this. So we're glad you made it here and hope you're able to take advantage of the opportunity. I'd like to start by going over some of the terms with you. I'm not going to go over all the terms, but I'm going to hit some of the highlights of them. Basically, if you look in the bidder's packet, you'll see the buy-sell agreement, and that's what you'll be signing when you're the high bidder today. But you do need to put 10% down today for the high bidder, and we'll accept a good check or cash for that. This deposit is not refundable if you, the buyer, do not carry through with the purchase. Your bidding is not conditional upon financing, and so you do need to make sure you arrange for financing and are capable of paying cash at the closing. The terms and conditions of the auction are going to be governed by the buy-sell agreement. This is a little bit of a summary of what's in the buy-sell. Basically this, property does sell as is, whereas there's no warranty of any type, expressed or implied as to the merchantability, usability, or fitness for a particular purpose, or any other matter whatsoever type of nature. Any improvements which might need to be made would be the responsibility of the purchaser, and all information advertised or stated was derived from sources believed correct. It is not guaranteed. The property dimensions are approximations only, and the buyer should rely entirely on their own information, judgment, and inspection of the property records. Now, the real estate does sell free and clear of liens. The property does, however, sell subject to any easements and any building and use restrictions that might be a record, and any announcements made at the auction site take precedence over printed material. The balance of the purchase price is due at the closing, and the seller will pay the taxes and assessments due on or before the auction. So, if you looked at the title commitment, you saw there was some taxes due. That will be paid at the closing. The seller will be paying that, and you'll take over from that point on with the taxes, what comes up in the future. Okay, possession on the vacant land will be granted at closing. For parcel 1, for the home and buildings, it's June 1. Now, it could be a little bit sooner, but in case it isn't, you need to just figure on June 1. The high bidder on the auction will be allowed to access the land to plant crops. I think you probably all read this statement already, but just in case you didn't know that, you'll be able to get on this spring prior to closing. Even if you haven't closed yet, once you sign the buy-sell and you place the deposit down and the proof of insurance. One other thing that's a little bit different than normal is this. The seller and the buyer are going to split closing costs. That includes the property transfer tax, the title insurance, and the other closing costs. It's going to be split 50-50, and also the fees that the title company charges for closing, which typically is around $450. We're going to be using the local title company to handle the closings. If you're the successful bidder here today, you need to go to the closing table to sign all the purchase agreements. Immediately following the conclusion of the auction, at that time your check gets endorsed as a non-refundable deposit on the property. Individual purchases need to be considered as singular transactions. They're not contingent on any other person's property in the auction. And there is a sheet with some new information on it, and they're at the back table. I'll read through that here in just a minute. But if you didn't get that, you're welcome to grab one. And also there's a bidder's packet that's on the back table. Continuing on with some announcements here. Regarding parcels 1 and 2, there was a small parcel of land. It ended up being like 14/100ths of an acre that was taken away from those 2 parcels because the pole barn that belonged with the home there was actually situated on some of the land. So we've straightened that out. We just want to make sure everybody's aware of that. So the neighbor now has his pole barn on his old land, and it ended up being about 14/100ths of an acre. There is city water and sewer and natural gas on 142nd Avenue. There was information in the title commitment as especially regarding the sewer. I think quite a bit of that sewer assessment has been paid, but there is some that will continue down the road on that. If you didn't see that information, that is in the bidder's packet in the title commitment. You do need to pay a 3.5% buyer's premium. That's added to your high bid here today, and the sum of your bid price and that 3.5% is going to be the purchase price. For example, if you bid $300,000, then we add 3.5%, and that would make the purchase price $310,500. So take that into account as you're bidding. Everybody has that that's bidding here today, so please make sure you're aware of it. The manure pits and any scrap that's remaining around there on the real estate act of closing is going to be the responsibility of you, the buyer. Once you deposit 10% of the purchase price and execute the agreement and provide the seller proof of insurance, you'll be able to access the farmland to plant crops. Now, what we said was this: if the buyer does not close on the property because of the buyer's own failure to fulfill the obligations, then you're going to forfeit your right to the crops if you planted them. If there would be a reason why, which I don't know of any reason why we wouldn't be able to close on the seller's part, but if that would happen, then of course you would have access and rights to the crops, and we figured about $200 per planted acre would be the grant. Property does not include any dairy or milking equipment, grain bins, corn silage, feed, or farm equipment. In fact, in a week we're going to be selling a little bit of their dairy equipment for them in a couple of feed bins. There's a flyer right back there if you'd like to see it. That's going to be an online auction in a week. If parcel 1 is sold separately from parcel 2, and if you have your brochure out, it might be helpful, or your bidder's packet, just to be able to look at that so you know what I'm talking about. But if parcel 1 sells separate from parcel 2, right now they're all one parcel for the township, then we're going to need to get a new survey. And we'll handle getting that done. We've got Yonkers lined up to handle that. The cost would be $3,200 total, so it would be split between the two buyers. So you'd each be paying $1,600 for one. If you bought one, you'd pay $1,600. If you bought two, you'd pay $1,600. And we'll have the survey done, and you'll get a copy, of course, of that survey. The same is the situation with 4 and 5. If they sell separate, the cost for that is $2,500. And that would be divided evenly, so you'd each pay $1,250 if we need to get a survey on that. Land division rights, that's in the bidder's packet. Hopefully you looked at that. Basically, per the state, we have to assign future land division rights, and that's listed how we're going to do that under an auction announcement number 12. The real estate is going to be bid on and sold by the parcel, not by the acre. So when you start out bidding on parcel 1, it's not times 27.5, which is how many acres there's there. Rather, whatever you bid, you're getting all 27.5 acres. Same thing with number 2. Whatever you bid, you're getting all 58.5 acres. So it's not by the acre, it's by the parcels how we'll be bidding and selling it here today. Parcels 2 and 4, they're parcels that sit in the back there with no road frontage. They cannot be bid on individually, so we'll not even offer those out the first round. Those are going to be available to anybody that is a high bidder or wants to combine them with any of these other parcels that they are adjacent to. You can bid on them as long as you are bidding also on one that has road frontage and is adjacent to it. So when we get in the combo round, that'll be interesting because you'll be able to add those parcels to another parcel and bid on them. But just be aware that if you bid on 2 or 4, you can't just bid on them by themselves. They have to be combined with something that would provide road frontage. And then, I announced that already, but in a week, next week, Wednesday, we're selling a little bit of equipment, so grab that information if you'd like that. Now, the printed announcement that confused the most people, and I apologize for that. Number 1, on the updated announcements that we just handed out today. Basically, what I was trying to do is to help you out. If you looked at the title commitment, when the title company wrote the title commitment up, they used parcel numbers that were different from what we're using here today. So, for instance, our auction parcel 1 is not what the title commitment calls now is parcel 1. And I just wanted to make that clear for you. So if you look at that, when the title commitment says parcel 1, what that is actually 1 and 2 together on an auction parcel. That's all that means. And parcel 2 on the title commitment is actually our auction parcels 4 and 5. And then 3 is 3. But that's all that means. It doesn't have anything to do with the auction today. It's just if you wanted to know which auction parcels made up which parcels on the title commitment, that's what we're trying to help you out with. Now there's copies of the sketch showing where the property line dividing 1 and 2 would be located if they do sell separately. And that's available for you by the table. If you need one, you didn't get one, raise your hand. We'll bring one out to you. Otherwise, you can grab it by the back table over there if you'd like. The acreage amounts shown are estimates, guys. It's not been surveyed. So just a tiny small part was surveyed that we had to do when we did the barn to give to the neighbor there. And so they're close, but they're not exact. I just want you to be aware of that. Please note that parcel number 1 we adjusted. I asked the younger surveyor to help me out a little bit on what the actual acreage amounts were. And number 1 is really approximately 27 and a half. And I think we had that listed a little bit less than that. So it's really going to be closer to 27 and a half. It'll vary a little bit from that too, but that's closer. And then the other one is parcel 2 is actually about 58 and a half. And that's a little bit less. I think we had that advertised as 60. So it's about 1.5 acres less. But again, all those are from old land description numbers, and you know how that goes sometimes when you go out there and actually do the survey. Sometimes it can be just a little different from what you think. The buy-to-sell agreement, we made 2 minor changes to it. I just want you to be aware of it. We inserted what the surveys are going to cost, so that was part of the buy-sell agreement if they did sell separately. And then we added to paragraph 2 this, that if the survey takes longer than anticipated, we're going to allow an additional 30 days to get it closed. The surveyors are pretty busy. I'm pretty sure they'll get there on time. You told me you would, but I've seen stranger things happen, so I just put that in just to be safe. So that's the only 2 things that we changed from what was in the original buy-sell agreement that was in your bid packet. Okay, how the auction is going to be conducted. We're going to conduct the auction in such a way that we're going to start out bidding on the parcels individually, and then we're going to allow for bids in any combinations of parcels throughout the auction. So what we're going to do is we're going to write the bid price and the buyer's numbers up here as we take them throughout the auction. Then when we get done with the single parcels, we'll do the combination round. It's a very fair way to let people bid on however you want to bid on it. For instance, some people maybe want to bid buy all of it or get none of it. If they want to do that, they combine all 5 parcels together and just bid on the 5 together. And they'll either get all 5 or they won't get any of it. And if you only need one, you want one, you can bid on your one and you can bid on that throughout the auction. The winning bids will most likely change as we go on throughout the auction, especially if we get different combinations of parcels and get bids on those. So the bids that are currently in the winning position will be noted with a red star next to them. So when you're looking at the board as we get going in the auction, we've got the red stars up right now, but when you see a price and a buyer number, if the red stars by that, they're in the winning position. If there's not a red star by it, we're not in the winning position. And if you want to be in the winning position, you know what that means, right? You got to bid again. So that's kind of how you'll be able to tell. We'll have a red star next to that, showing which bids are in the winning position. No parcel of real estate is sold until the entire auction is over, and we announce that the auction is complete. Now, every once in a while, folks, somebody bids on just one parcel, and they're a high bidder for a while, and then somebody comes along and combines that parcel they were a high bidder on with another one, and that combination bid is higher, and so the person that was in on the one loses out for the time being. And they think, well, I don't want to pay more, and they leave. All of a sudden, somebody else comes along and puts a whole different combination in and has every one of the parcels except theirs. And they bid enough so that makes that the high combination. So once in a while, your bid could come back in without you bidding anymore. It could come back into being in the winning position. So I guess what I'm trying to say is if you've got your name and number on the board, you might want to just hang around and make sure you know what happens until we get to the end of the auction. When we get near the conclusion of the auction, when the bidding slowed down, we give a time limit for a bid. If we don't receive a bid in that time limit, the auction ends. If we do get a bid, we restart the clock because we want to make sure those people that got bumped out or at the last minute have the opportunity to bid again. So that's how we'll do it. You'll know when the auction could be done. We'll say there's so many minutes left, and if there's no bid in that time frame, that's when it ends. Now, we got plenty of bid assistance to help you. If you have a question about what you need to bid in order to be in the winning position, or you want to combine parcels, we'll help you out. Jeremy Beadham on the far right. Over here is Beth Truskowski. Beth is going to be coming up here and running the computer for us, and she's the one that can figure out when we get some of these combos that are maybe a little hard for us to add up in our heads. She'll have that all on the computer. Kurt Benneray right in the middle, and Chuck Randy next to him. I'm sitting in when we make up the crew helping you out here today. All right, I think we're getting real close, so we're going to do this. How many of you folks have never been to a real estate auction? Could you raise your hand for me? Wow, quite a few. So what we're going to do then, and those of you that have been to our auctions before, you're going to need to help us out a little bit. We're going to sell something before we actually start the auction to give you an idea of how we call the bids, so that before you're starting out bidding on a real estate and paying quite a bit of money, you'll get a feel for how it works. So what we're going to do is sell this flashlight. This is the only item on the auction that you don't have to pay for if you're the high bidder, all right? So just, the idea is just help us out to bid. We're going to give everybody an opportunity to get a feel for how it works. And Chuck, that one's got our logo on it, doesn't it? Yeah. And like I mentioned earlier, those of you that know us, we think this is going to be very highly collectible someday. And it's not really just because our name's on it, but like I said before with the donuts, we're pretty tight. So there's a very limited quantity of those will ever be made. So get in and bid. Those of you that have been to an auction, help us out. It's all for fun on this item, and we'll just give everybody an opportunity to hear how it works. So who wants to start us off? Look at $10 million. $10 million. Thank you. Now 11. $11 million bid to go. $11 million. Now 12. $12 million bid. Now 13. $13 million bid to go. $12 million bid. I'm going to get 13. Now 14. Now 15. $15 million. You got two of them, Chuck? Let's make sure we give them each one. Otherwise, it might never end. So, $14 million. Like I said, you guys don't have to pay for those, but we would like our buyer's premium before you leave tonight. All right. You do that, we'll be very, very happy. But that's how it works, folks. If you want to bid, raise your card or your hand. Got a question, wave us over like this, and we'll come and talk to you. It's not like the old Budweiser commercial on TV that you hit your nose and you end up buying something you didn't plan on. We'll try to make eye contact with you, and if you have a question, like I said, just kind of wave us over in this matter. Ladies and gentlemen, outstanding opportunity. We got a prime farm, much of which has been the Potter family for over 100 years. We got a great location, which means that it should be an outstanding investment. That should grow in value while you either farm it or you lease it out or whatever you want to do. And it's all going to be selling today to the highest bidder. We just need to determine who that high bidder is and how much. So that's what our job is. We're going to do our best to help you all out, put you all on even footing, even ground, and you just bid away, and the high bidder is going to end up owning it. So, outstanding opportunity. We're glad you're here to take advantage of it. It is auction time. So we're going to start out with parcel number 1, 27.5 acres. I'll briefly tell you what they are as we go through them here this first round, and then we won't be giving descriptions of them anymore after that. Parcel 1 has the home, the buildings, and I think it's about 27.5 acres. The home, there is someone that is living in it right now. They are in the process of moving out and should be out shortly. It's got a newer furnace, a well, and septic, 5 bedrooms and a bath. It's got a garage. And then, of course, all the buildings that were used with the dairy farm They're all listed there. Quite a bit of storage, and if you want to raise some livestock or milk cows or whatever you want to do there, it's all there ready for you. And I'm not going to read through all of it. You have all had the opportunity to look it over, I'm sure. So we'll move on. Parcel 2 is 60 acres of land that sits in the back there. And parcel 3 is 13 acres and has frontage on 14. And let's see, parcel 4 is about 20 acres that sits right behind parcel 5. Parcel 5 is the frontage on 142nd. And that parcel has got quite a bit of land that's along the road that's commercial type of zoning. And then the balance, I believe, is residential. So that's probably a very good potential investment parcel too. So that's what we're selling. We're going to start with number 1. All the buildings, the home, the 27.5 acres. We'll start with number 1. All right? Who wants to give us a bid to go? And guys, I don't really care where we start out. I'm more concerned with where we end up. So you just get me going wherever you want, and we'll work our way on up. All right? So I'm not going to start you with a high bid. I'm just going to start you low, and we'll go from there. I've never had anybody yet that gave me as much as they wanted to pay right off the bat. You guys. All right, here we go. 300 grand. Who started us off? $300,000 down, but I'm gonna get $300,000 good to go. Parcel 1, 300. Now a half. $350,000 down, but I'm gonna get 3.5. $300,000 down, but I'm gonna give a half. Down, but I'm gonna get $350,000 good to go. How about a quarter? $325. $300,000 down, but I'm gonna get $25,000 good to go. Anybody else want in? $325,000 down, but yes, quarter. 3.25. Now half. 3.5 to bid to go. 3.5 down, but I'm gonna get 350. 350. Now 75. 375 down, but I'm gonna get 75. 400. 400 down, but I'm gonna get 400 down, but I'm gonna get 400. 400,000. 400,000. 400. What do you say? 385. Now 400,000 bid to go. 400,000 down, but I'm gonna get 400,000 bid. 385 around here. 400,000 bid to go. 400 parcel 1, all buildings, the home and everything. 400. Now 10. 410 to bid. 410,000 down, but I'm gonna get 10. 410,000 down, but I'm 20. 420,000 bid to go. 420,000 down, but I'm gonna get $20,000 bid to go. 410, 20. 420,000 bid to go. 410, yes or yes. 420,000 down, but I'm gonna get $20,000 bid to go. You said no. Anybody else want to see me on parcel 1? We're at 410. 420,000 down, but I'm gonna get 420. Hold it right there at 410,000. Buyer is
545.
545. Okay, 2 is going to wait until the combination round. We'll go to 3. And folks, here's a nice prime parcel. It's about 13.17 acres. Frontage on 14. Paved road. So a lot of possibilities for that parcel. And we're just going to offer it right out. 13.17 acres. Give me 100 grand to start. 100,000, thank you. Now 110. 110,000 down, but I'm going to get 10. 110,000 down, but I'm going to get 10,000 down, but I'm going to give 110. Now 20. $120,000 bid to go. 110, 20 you want in. 110,000 down, but I'm going to get $20,000. Yeah, 20. Now 30. 130. Now 40. 140,000 down, but I'm going to get 40. 140,000 down, but I'm going to get 30. $40,000 bid to go. 140. $140,000 bid to go. It's 13 acres, guys. You know what you got to pay. You have to go out in the market to find that. You just get in. It's going to sell to a high bidder today. We're at 130 is all. 140. $140,000 bid to go. 140,000. Now 50. 150,000 down, but I'm going to get 50. 150,000 down, but I'm going to give $150,000 bid to go. Now 60. 160,000 down, but I'm going to get $60,000 bid to go. $160,000 bid to go. We'll tell you when you're paying too much. Just keep bringing that hand in here, all right? 150, now 60, $160,000 bid to go. $160,000 down, but I'm going to get $60,000 bid to go. $160,000. Anybody else? Here we go. 150, 160, $160,000 down, but I'm going to get $60,000 bid to go. Y'all done? 150, 60,000. Sold or hold it right there. The 150,000. Buyer number is
553.
553. All right. Number 4 is again going to be one that we have to do. As a swing parcel later with a combination. So the last single parcel that we can bid on individually is number 5. This is the parcel that has frontage on 142nd. It does have some of the commercial and residential zoning. So parcel 5, prime development parcel for down the road or maybe right away, guys. Either way, it's going to be a good investment for you. Wait a minute, 400 acres will give me, or 40 acres will give me 500,000. 500,000 down, but even I'm going to get 500. Just want to start in 500,000. We got 2. Now I have 250,000 down, but even I'm going to get 2.5. 250,000 down, but even I'm going to get 1/2. Down, but even I'm going to get 250 down, but even I'm going to get 2.5. 200.5. Now 3. 300,000 down, but even I'm going to get 300,000 down. We're good to go. 75 to 75. Now 3. 300,000 down, but even I'm going to get 300. 300 now, quarter. 3 1/4 down, but even I'm going to give a quarter down. We're good to go. 3 1/4 down. We're good to go. 300,000 down, but even I'm going to give a quarter down. But even I'm going to give a quarter down. Now I have 350,000 down bid. 350 now, 75. 375, 400,000 down, but even I'm going to get 4 down, quarter. 4 1/4 down, but even I'm going to get 4 and 1/4 down, but even I'm going to get 425,000 down. We're good to go. 425. 425,000. Guys, I'll tell you what, that's about 10 grand an acre. I know if you all thought about it, if you thought you could buy it for that, you'd be jumping up and down for joy. So don't miss out. We're going to find out who's going to own it down the road. But you got a quarter now, Chuck? You got 4.5. Keep working, Chuck. Keep working. Now 75. 450. Now 75. 40 acres. 475. 475 down, but even I'm going to get 75 down, we're good to go. 450 down, but even I'm going to get 75. Nobody else want to see me? 4.5. 475,000 down, but even I'm going to get 475. 450,000 down, but even I'm going to get 75. Nobody else, last call. 450 now, 75 bid. Hold it right there at 450. Buyer number is 553. Okay, we got you warmed up. Now, folks, is when we go into what's mainly the combination round. You can bid on any individual yet, but if you want to combine 1 and 2, you want to combine 1, 2, and 3, you want to combine 3 and 4, whatever you want to do, here's your opportunity. So you can add 58 acres with whatever parcel that's adjacent to it. You can add 20 with the one adjacent to it. You can do all 5. However you want to do it, this is your opportunity. It's a combination round. And we work with you. So I don't do quite as much bid calling, and we do a little more talking with you on an individual basis. So these guys out here will help you out, and all you got to do is tell us what you want to bid. You got something, Jared? All right, we're going to put 4 and 5 together, and we'll offer this one out. Are you going to do it? All right, 4 and 5 together. So, folks, it's the 20 acres and the 40 that sit right off on 142nd there. The 20 sits just north of it. So we're going to put those 2 together. What do you got, Jared? We've got a bid of 500,000 for it, and we'll go up from there. So 4 and 5 together, it'll be 60 acres. We got 500. Who else is interested in 4 and 5 together? Who'll give me 5 1/4? 5 1/4. 4 and 5 together. 5 1/4 down, but even I'm going to get 5 1/4. 5, yes, quarter. Now half. You're on the chair. 5 1/2. 550,000 down bid. Now 75. 575 down bid to go. 575,000. 575,000 down, but even I'm going to get 5. Yes, now 600. 600,000 down bid. Now quarter. Now half. 6.5 down bid to go. 650,000 down bid to go. 650,000 down, but even I'm going to get 6.5. I got quarter up front. You're not in, Chuck. 6.5. $650,000 bid now 675. 675 now 7. 700,000 down, but even I'm going to get 700,000 down, but even I'm going to get 700. 700,000 down, now quarter. 7 1/4 down, but now half. 7.5 down, but even I'm going to get $750,000 bid to go. 750,000 down, but even I'm going to get 750. Now 75. Now 8. 800,000 down, but even I'm going to get 800. 800,000 down, but even I'm going to get 800,000 down, but even I'm going to get 1/4. 8 1/4 down, but even I'm going to get 825. Now 850. 850,000 dollars good to go. 850,000 dollars now. 850,000 dollars. We need about $8,500 now. 875. 875,000 dollars good to go. 875. 900. 900,000 dollars now quarter. Now half. 9.5 good to go. 925 into 950,000. Anybody else want to see me? 4 and 5 together. We got 9 1/4. We're looking for 950. It's the parcel in the frontage on 142nd and the 20 acres behind it. 9 1/4, 950, and 4 and 5 together. 950,000 down, we need about 950. 950,000 down, we need about 950 down, we need about 9.5. Everybody else, here we go. 950 and 4 and 5. Stays at 9 1/4 for now. So we got the bidder number is 543. Okay, so now take a look, folks. So here's what you're going to notice. These bids are no longer in the winning position. We're going to put a red star right here. So we got 4 and 5 in a combo at 9 1/4. We've still got 1 by itself at 410, and we've got 3 by itself at 150. So any other combos, you can bid on the combo that's up there. Any individuals, you can combine different parcels, however you want to do it.
Hello, this is DJ.
What you got, Chuck? All right, we've got a new combo. We've got a new combo, folks. It's going to be 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the bid is $1,400,000. So that's enough to knock this one out, correct? And it will leave 1 in by itself, 3 is out. And what was the buyer number, Kurt? 549. So we're going to offer that combo up because there's probably more of you that want it. Let's just look at your aerial on it. 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's going to put you at about what? About 100 and how many acres? Everything but 1. 133, okay. All right. About 132 acres. And we're at $1,400,000. So it's everything now except for the house and the buildings. That parcel's not included, all right? So it's everything except for the house and the buildings. We're at $1,400,000. We'll give $1,425,000 on that grouping. $1,425,000. Now $1,450,000. You're out. $1,450,000. Now $1,475,000. $1,475,000 to go. $1,475,000. Now $1,500,000. $1,500,000. Now $1,500,000 1/4. $1,500,000 now bid. Now $1,550,000. $1,550,000. Now $1,575,000. $1,575,000 down to about $1,600,000. $1,600,000 1/4. $1,600,000 down to now $1,650,000. $1,675,000. $1,675,000. Now we're good to go. $1,700,000. $1,700,000 1/4. $1,700,000 down to about to give $1,700,000 1/4. $1,700,000 $1,700,000 $1,775,000. $1,775,000. Now we're good to go. $1,775,000. Now $1,800,000. $1,800,000. Now $1,800,000. $1,850,000 down to about to give $1,850,000. Now $1,900,000. $1,900,000. $1,900,000. Now $1,950,000. $1,950,000. $1,950,000 down, we need about to give $1,950,000 to go. $1,950,000 down, we need about to give $1,950,000. Took it back there first. $1,950,000. $2 million or $2 million. We got Chuck in. $2 million. $2 million to go. $2 million. How about $1,975,000? You got $2 million. No, $2,050,000. $2,050,000 to bid to go. Everything but parcel 1. $2,050,000. $2 million on bid. Who gets $2,050,000? $2,050,000 down. We need about to get $2,050,000 bid to go. $2,050,000. $2,050,000 down. We need about to get $2,050,000. Now $2,100,000. 2.1. $2,100,000 down. We need about to get $2,100,000 bid to go. Now $2,150,000. $2,150,000 bid to go. $2,150,000 down. We need about to get $2,150,000 to bid to go. Everybody else want in? $2,100,000. $2,150,000. Everything except parcel 1. $2,150,000. We're bidding $2,100,000. Last call bid to go. $2,150,000 bid to go. Stays at $2,100,000 for the time being. The buyer's $549,000. All right. So here's where we're at right now, folks. Parcel 1, $410,000. Parcel 2, 3, 4, and 5, about 132 acres at $2,100,000. Now you can do any other combos. You can put it all together. You can do whatever you'd like here. All right, folks, tell us what you'd like to do so that often you get an opportunity to bid on an auction to get some good prime land, and you've got that opportunity here today. Like I said, it's selling to the high bidder. We just need to determine who it is. If you have a question, if you'd like to bid on a different combination, if you'd like to know what it takes to get in on any combination, even if you're not sure you want to bid on it, just feel free to ask and we'll figure it out for you. Folks, we've got it projected up here on the screen for you, so you can kind of see right now the darker green is to one bidder, the lighter green is to the second bidder. Gives you the price per acre up there right now and the amount, so that'll help you out if you want to look at that. Parcel 1, kind of figured that would happen. Yeah. All right, I think there's more people out there probably when they look at this now and see parcel 1 at that price are probably interested. We got 420 on it. So we're going around parcel 1 again. It's the home, the buildings, 27.5 acres, 2,100 square foot home. And all the buildings, guys, all the buildings, plus about 27.5 acres. So we're at 420. Who got 430 on parcel 1? Yep. Now 440. 440 down, we need about to get 440. 440 down, we need about to get 440. Now 4.5. 450 now 460. 470 down 70. 470 down, we need about to get 470 down, we need about to get 470. Now 80. 480 down 90. 490 down, we need to go. 490 down, now 500 down, now 10. 510,000 dominated by market 510. 500,000 dominated by market 510. 510. 500,000 dominated by market parcel 1 now. The home and all the buildings. 510. 500,000 dominated by market 10. 500,000 dominated by market 10. $10,000 all done. Here we go. 500,000 dominated by market 10. Hold it right there. 500,000 buyer number 549. So we're at $2,600,000 on all of them right now, folks, and you can bid on all of it, any combos, whatever you want to do. Right now, the high bidders, Red Stars, 2, 3, 4, and 5 at $2.1 million, and 549 and 500,000 at number 1. Get the wrong number, Kurt? I'm glad he got the wrong number, guys, because when he makes a mistake, I get the doctor's pay. So, that was Chuck's mistake. I think it's both your mistakes. You're both docked a little bit. So, we're good. Man, I'm making more money today than ever did. All right. Tell us what you'd like to do yet, folks. Any combos, any individuals, whatever bit you'd like to do. I know. Well, Jeremy's actually had it where he's owed me money before we were done with the auction. Folks, tell us what you'd like to do. I'm going to probably get the clock going here fairly soon if we don't have much for action. And if the clock gets started and we don't get bid, then the auction will be over. But I don't want to put that kind of pressure on you. If you're interested or you have some questions, let us know. You can see again how it's going. The darker green is all one buyer, and the orangish one is to another buyer. You know, I just want to make sure everybody understands that if you want a different combo, if you want to put 3 and 4 or 4 and 5 or 3, 4 and 5, however you want to do it, you still have that opportunity to do it. Just let us know what you'd like to do. Oh, you're back there working, Chuck? I'm working. Oh, sorry. And there I am criticizing you too, you can believe it. Nope. What do you got, Chuck? All right, so we got, how much of a raise was that? All right, well, 150,000 raise on 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the buyer, it goes to $2,250,000, and buyer number 553. So we'll offer out 2, 3, 4, and 5 again. That's all the land except parcel 1, which has the buildings on it and the home. So we're selling approximately 132 acres, 2,250,000. So we'll offer out 2, 3, 4, and 5. 2,250,000. You'll get 2,003,000. 2,003,000 to bid to go. 2,300,000 down with the lumber to 2,003,000. 2, 3, 4, and 5. 2,300,000 bid to go. 2,300,000 down with the lumber to 2,300,000 down with the lumber to 2,003,000. Everybody else. 2,003,000. We're at 2,250,000. We'll give 2,300,000 bid to go. All done. 2,300,000. Okay, we'll say it. 2,250,000. Fire 553. Are we at the point yet where we give out a free donut with every bid? You go on the setup here. There's a few donuts. Okay, free donut, folks, with every bid.
We set trusses yesterday.
You know, folks, it's hard to know, isn't it, sometimes what land is worth and so on. But certainly what we can all agree on is we've got a parcel of land here that's in a great location. It's in an area that's been doing nothing but going up in value. And I remember I talked to an older gentleman one time that was a real estate investor. And he told me, when I told him that I had to pay too much for a parcel of land I bought, and he told me that the only time the most money that he's ever made in his life on real estate is on the parcels that pay too much for. There's a lot of truth to that. Yes, they're the good ones, right? They're the parcels that people want that are in the right location. So don't miss out. Sometimes you pay a little more than you want, but it ends up in the long run being a good investment. And I really think that's kind of where we're at here today. We're probably maybe just a little bit early on it, but I tell you, coming down the road, you're going to find yourself having an excellent parcel of land that is going to make you money while you enjoy it or lease it or do whatever you want to do. And it's selling today to the highest bidder. We just need to determine who it is. All right, Kurt. 10 what? 10 grand. All right. 60. I thought you were going to raise it 10 million. 2,260,000. Well, we'll do the same thing with both directions. 2,270,000. We're not going to go under 10 grand on it, that's for sure. 2,270,000 on number 2, 3, 4, and 5. 2,270,000. 2,270,000 to bid. $2,270,000 to bid on 2, 3, 4, and 5. 2,270,000. $2,270,000 to bid on $2,270,000 to bid. $2,270,000. Yes or yes, Chuck, you want to bid $2,270,000 to bid to go. Anybody else? 2,260,000. 2,270,000. Anybody?
Yep.
Now 2,280,000. 2,280,000. Now 2,290,000. Chuck. Now 2,300,000. 2,300,000. $2,300,000 bid to go. 2,300,000. 2,300,000. Now 2,310,000. 2,310,000. 2,320,000. $2,320,000 bid to go. $2,320,000 bid. $2,320,000 bid. About to get $2,320,000. $2,320,000 bid. About to get $2,320,000. Anybody else want in? $2,320,000 bid to go. It's only 10 grand more than somebody else is willing to pay, guys. Jump right in. 2,320,000. 2,320,000. Last call, we're going to move on. 2,320,000. 2,310,000. You want to bid 2,320,000? Hold it at 2,310,000. Fire number 503 553. 2,310,000. All right, the board should be up to date. We got the combo 2, 3, 4, 5 in, and the individual on parcel 1 in. Anybody else that would like to talk to us? This is about the time, Chuck, when our past partners would come in with a billing of $2,800,000, wouldn't they? Yeah. I think they were big stuff, but it was just 10 grand short. That would be good. That'd be your dad, Tim. All right, we're at 2,810,000. Anybody want to talk with us about any other combos, any individuals, or on all of it? If you want to buy all of it, folks, you just have to probably give us about 2,850,000 or so. You can own it all. All right, guys. What I'm going to do in just a few minutes then is this. I'm going to put a clock on, and I'm going to give us just a few minutes. If there's no bids, nobody that gives us a different combination or something, then what we're going to do is we're going to give one more call on each one. And if there isn't anything, we're going to call it off as sold and be done. So I want to give everybody an opportunity. If you want a different combination, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to talk about it with us. Otherwise, what we're going to do when we're done is we're going to go to number 1, see if anybody wants to get more. And I'm going to call off the bids, and if nobody does, it's going to sell right there, and it'll be done. And we'll go to this one, call off the bids, see if anybody wants to give us more. If they don't, we'll be done. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes right now to talk to us about any other combos. And if that doesn't happen, we'll call off the bids one more time on each one, and we'll be done. 2 minutes from above now. Think it over, folks, because it really is one of the nice things about buying at an auction is that you're just, you're not paying a price that some owner or whatever has way too high, and you don't know whether that should be the right price or not. You're paying one bit more than somebody else is the point. And so you know where the market's at. And that's the opportunity you got. We're about down to a minute and a half. If anybody wants to talk with us about any other combos. Down to about a minute and 5 seconds for anybody that would like to talk to us about different combinations. Otherwise, like I said, we're going to offer them out the way they are right now, one more time, and that'll be it. 45 seconds. If anybody wants to bid on all of it, you have to speak up now. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to bid on all of it. So if you want all of it, speak up. We're down to 30 seconds. It doesn't have to end this way, folks. 20 seconds. Anybody have a different combo or want to bid on all of it? 10 seconds to speak up. All right. 2, 1, 0. So now we're going to offer them all one more time. This is it. Okay? This is it. I'm going to call off the bids. When the bidding slows, I'm gonna call it off the sold and it's sold, okay? So we're gonna start with number one. 27.5 acres, buildings, home, everything. We're at 500 grand. You're gonna wanna get 510. 510, down, good to go. 510, down, be about to get 510. Number one, 510. 510, down, be about to get 510. 500, down, be about to get 10. Down, be about to get 10. Go on in. 510. 500, parcel one, 510, last call, here we go. 500, down, be about to get 10. Down, be about to get 510. Are you all done? 510,000. That one's sold, 500 grand, the buyer 554. Now, last call for 2, 3, 4, and 5. About 132 acres. We're at 2,310,000. We'll get 2,320. 2,320 on parcel 2, 3, and 4. 2,320. 2,320 down, be about 2,320. Anybody want to see me? 2,320 down, be about 2,320 down, bid. 2,320. 2,320 down, be about 2,310 is what we're at. Last call to bid 2,320. 2,320 down, be about 2,320. Are you done? 2,320 down, good to go. Here we go. Last call. 2,320,000 down to bid. Sold it. 2,310,000. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming out. Appreciate. Congratulations to the high bidders. We ended up. What's our total, Beth, with the buyer premium? To over 2.9 million. And how much is that about per acre? It's got to be.